A new state-of-the-art tidal energy project, which will be constructed off the shores of the Isle of Wight, has been given the green light. The onshore part of the project will be in Ventnor, with the offshore part being constructed off St Catherine's Point. And joining me now to tell us more about it is the chairman of Perpetuus Tidal, Robert Stevens. So really briefly, what's Perpetuus Tidal? You're in charge of building it, or?
Yes, we are going to try and construct a tidal energy station, or a power station if you like, off the Isle of Wight, off the southern part. It's 2.5 kilometres off St Catherine's Point. The turbines will generate the electricity through the tides. That electricity will then go back on to the island through a control room and into the national grid.
So we can all kind of imagine what offshore wind energy looks like, but it's kind of less clear in my head what tidal energy would look like. If I'm standing at St Catherine's Point, will I be able to see it on a good day? What would it look like?
It'll look like some buoys in the water marking all the various turbines. Some of the turbines will be above the water, or the tops of them will be above the water.
Okay.
So if you try and imagine the Solent on a busy day, with buoys and boats, it's not dissimilar to that.
And so, but presumably the boats can't sail where the tidal turbines are, or they have to sail around it, or what's it like?
That's not absolutely clear. Normally, because of the control of waters, then people will sail round it.
Okay.
But for things like the races, obviously you take precautions and perhaps people might be able to go through, but generally speaking they'll go round it.
Go round it,
and we've
okay.
worked pretty closely with the Round the Island race as well, and they're quite comfortable with what we're going to do.
Okay, so you're not going to be kind of obstructing shipping lanes or any of that kind of stuff?
No, certainly not.
And so the kind of onshore point will be in Ventnor, I understand. What will that mean in terms of onshore? What kind of infrastructure is going in there?
It's just a small control room, which is probably the size of a small house, but one story.
Okay.
And we're trying to make sure it fits in exactly with the local type of architecture, so that's wood, and we're even going to put some greenery around it and on the roof if we can, but it's got to fit in completely, and then that'll lead into a cable that'll run underground to Wootton, which is where it'll go into the national grid. Now, so
there's been, quite a lot of controversy about this generation of energy offshore, and I can think, a name springs to mind, Navitas Bay, which kind of has been happening and then it hasn't been happening. How did you manage to get this through? What was the secret?
Well, we've been pretty thorough. The first thing we did was we got a very well-recognised environmental company, Royal Haskinen, to do a big study costing us 1.6 million. We put all the facts together associated with the environmental points, and we passed that on to the Marine Management Organisation. They've been through it thoroughly, asked us lots of questions. They looked at the onshore environmental side as well. We even looked at the fishermen and the crabs. The whole lot was woven together, which we hoped would take 6 months. It's taken 16 months because they've been so thorough, and that thoroughness has led to our permission.
Well, congratulations. A lot of people will be wondering if you've got these kind of turbines, like, I guess in my head I'm imagining propellers. I'm sure it doesn't look like that, but what happens to the fish? Will they be swimming through them or around them? Or?
No, some studies have been done off whales there, and that's in a main channel, and the fish actually go round them, just like we would. If we saw a fan ahead of us, we'd go round it. So
okay.
There's not an issue there either.
Oh, really? So they're clever enough to work out not to kind of swim through it?
Absolutely.
That's remarkable. And can you give me some kind of idea of how much energy this will be generating? Yeah,
this is going to generate 30 megawatts, but to make that simple, that's the equivalent of 15,000 homes on the Isle of Wight. That's about a quarter of the Isle of Wight's capacity.
Okay. So if we did 3 more of them, then you could presumably generate enough energy for the entirety of the Isle of Wight.
You could. But you've got to be clear that it goes into the national grid, and the national grid decide where it's actually going to go. But yeah, the Isle of Wight could be self-sufficient in energy if we generate a few more. And we think there's around 200 megawatts of tidal energy around the Isle of Wight. So that not only would bring electricity, it would bring jobs, and it would bring inward investment as well. And we're actually partnering with the Isle of Wight Council. So they're going to profit from whatever we bring in.
I was going to say it brings jobs, but I mean, obviously you have to build it, which presumably requires quite specialist engineers and whatnot for the actual construction. But then you say it's all going to be operated from this one sort of house.
Yes.
How many people could possibly be employed there?
Only a few. Well, once we get it up and running, there'll be a few, but then there'll be requirement for maintenance. And so you'll need boats to go out there, and look at the turbines themselves. You'll need port facilities. You'll need the orbiter building. You'll need electrical engineers. You'll need environmentalists. So, although we think in the building stage there'll be around about 200 jobs created. Now that'll drop down once it starts operating.
Robert, thank you very much for coming, and I'm afraid we've run out of time, but fascinating stuff, and good luck with the project.
Thank you very much indeed.